still, they come short when it comes to the international stage. Crazy Raccoon, unfortunately, fell to an EMEA roster. They also picked up a couple of tips, it seems, on the way. They brought in a lot of Mina today in the quarterfinals, which worked out quite well for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's part of the perks of playing at these international events, right? You build kind of the extra points towards seeing other people's strategies. You get to see what worked against you, and it was so interesting hearing from Milkrow, because I feel like historically everybody talks about East Asia's mechanics. They stink at the draft. The one thing he said, what was the biggest thing we stink at? It was EMEA kicking our butts at mechanics. And that's a crazy thought to think that now there's two things going against them. They know they have so much to work on. I'm hoping to see that drive kind of come in here. Obviously, it'd be nice to see Rival win, but it would be awesome to see CR make a statement performance too.
Absolutely. I think they've both got a lot of work to do after their quarterfinal performances. Both Rival and Crazy Raccoon left a bit to be desired in terms of quarterfinal performances. So I'm hoping that they're able to both play to their best level so they give us a good game.
We'll see if they can show it to us today, also in mechanics, in drafts, in everything. They can become another well-rounded champion, as Crazy Raccoon has already done it twice, won the grand finals of this region. This is the map draft, so Crazy Raccoon is starting out. They got to decide if they want to pick first or second. Of course, they got to pick first, right, panel? We have Crazy Raccoon picking Hideouts, then Triple Dribble from Arrival, Safe Zone. That's the first time we get to see this map today. Crystal Arcade, a common map. It seems to be the favorite amongst the Gemcro maps today.
Yeah, it seems to be the case, to be honest with you. In Hideout as well, we've seen a lot of Hideout in terms of bounty too, so team's really enjoying that map, Triple Dribble. Not one of my favourites, but I can see why people would like it, especially if you've kind of got a bit more of an aggressive or like a thrower bias. But I'm excited to see how this one plays out. I'm thinking it's probably going to be like a 3-1 kind of game to Crazy Raccoon. I don't think it'll be a sweep, because I think Rival have got a little bit of something in them that we get to see.
I don't want it to be a sweep. But again, Crazy Raccoon had a little bit of a problem coming into today that they just couldn't finish in the end. They just couldn't actually close it out. They could have made it a very quick 3-0, landed on a 3-2, and that's something we see often from Crazy Raccoon, I would say.
Global bans will be rolling in, and the Assassins coming out at that left-hand side. No Edgar, no Kit. Especially on top of that, a couple maps that are repeating here. Repeat offenders. Hideout was actually the selection for CR the last go-around where they ended up winning, and Crystal Arcade was Rivals. So both of these teams, this is a clear strength that they have. One doing it in the opening map, one putting it in the fourth. I would say the left-hand side is just more of the generic, we ban these brawlers because they're good. The right is much more targeted, though. I wonder why Ruffs, and I wonder why Imps. I wonder if that's a data thing, if it's something they're just uncomfortable with playing. It's been really interesting to kind of hear pros' thoughts in general about why they make the choices they do at this global stage.
Maybe 2030 or something, we get to hear the players also talk about why they picked what. We can only try and figure it out via the stats that we do have. Crazy Raccoon does like to play those two brawlers on Crystal Arcade specifically, which is the fourth map. Let's see if we even get to see it, 96% for Crazy Raccoon. That is insane. That is the most one-sided vote we had in the BSC, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably getting towards it, to be honest with you. I'm not surprised. Crazy Raccoon, when you look at their, position on the leaderboard, their win percentages, it's all going to be pretty high, to be honest with you. So when you're just looking at it like that, yes, 96% of people are probably going to choose Crazy Raccoon if forced to make it. But I don't think if you said, give me a percentage-wise, if you said, give me percent of, who do you think is going to win, you'd probably be around, 70-30, in my opinion. Rival definitely not going to be the favourites by any means coming into this one, but as you said, the targets are plans towards them, so it gives them a bit more of a chance.
And they're leaving Damien left open is what stands out to me once more. We have only seen him open once today, and it was usually, if you pick Damien alone, you're going to win. If you pick Damien and Edgar together, you're losing.
Yeah, we do have a handful of this, and it was actually Rival that used that composition a few times in their match as well, so Crystal Arcade is somewhere where they came out and used that as kind of a bear composition, just really running it down and going at people's faces. Can you pull that off against Crazy Raccoon? No. Mechanics are something that they're obviously very good at. It's how they've made their brand. So I don't know if that's necessarily what they're going to want to be looking for. I'm curious what adjustments they make from a team like Phase Zero to now going into the defending world champions.
Leading up to the monthly finals, they've actually been one of the only teams to leave Damien open, which is always a decision you want to make, right? In the scrims, in the monthly qualifiers, do we try and test with Damien Open or not? For every single team, they have to go through that process, and it seems like 9 out of 10 teams in East Asia usually bet him out. It's super interesting to me that Crazy Raccoon decided to leave him open, kind of bet on Rival to just get rid of him themselves. Now Damien is open, Naja is as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of good brawlers that are going to slip through, especially when you kind of not banning out those, as you said, Damien Najas. It kind of opens up different metas depending on different global bans as well. So I'm intrigued to see how this one plays out. Damien, for me, probably just going to be banned every single game, even though he's not global banned. But to be fair, we said that last time as well, and it was left heavily open. So maybe I'm just going to be eating my own words yet again today. But yeah, I would have expected both Naja and Damien to just be banned out throughout the games if they slip through.
Which is why we have global bans since March of this year, right? Now, if you haven't locked in your predictions just yet, you just saw the rewards that you can win if you get your predictions right. So make sure to head over there now. You can still vote for semi-final 1, 2, and the grand finals. And then also for tomorrow, we have EMEA for you in store. We're going to have different rewards also next weekend, so make sure to head over there now. Without further ado, I think we're ready for our semi-final number 1 of these beautiful June monthly finals. And we are on Hideout yet again.
Venom 5.
Razor Kun was the first pick. As I mentioned, Naja's left open and she's going to be immediately picked up here. Bell Double Band has been the most picked brawlers from both of these teams on this map. Jaeyoung, very quick draft here. Do you like it? It will definitely get the blue star with a sped up Mortis. There's no one who can be faster, not even a Kaze. Now let's see on the left hand side if we still get to see some aggression. Leon has been one of these brawlers that we have seen quite often today. Is going to be bad out. Mina left open once more though.
I think all those are on the table. I think Blue Star on the right-hand side, so I would say left-hand side strays away from it. They're going to go with the Byron Mina composition. Anytime you see Mina, I'm always looking out for Byron. Long range, plus the ability to obviously heal up the Mina. I think it's a good tandem. This Byron does strike me as a solid pick, but Mortis kind of still scares me from this left-hand side composition. Didn't expect the Poco. Definitely a curveball there, but I think they're literally just going to be powering up a Mortis to go dive at the enemies is what it looks like.
I think they would have liked to have Mina, Mortis, and Jaeyoung, as this is a comp they played often in scrims. Now, doubling down the heals with Poco, he doesn't bring range against Mina and Byron, but what he has, Trev, is a gadget that is catered towards the Naja poison.
Yeah, I think that's a great shot. I think it'll work quite well, but I either think they're going to get absolutely battered or they're going to do the battering. There's going to be no in between. It just seems like that kind of game to me in terms of the draft. As you said, though, Mortis will most definitely get this blue star, but not without Tensai contesting it a little bit and trying to find a few shots through the mid. He's been forward for Tensai, trying to match it round the flank is Foya, but he's going to be very careful not to overextend.
Yeah, nobody can really be on their own here. Ryohei going to be working alongside Totoro, and it's going so well so far. Mortis will escape with about 5,000 HP, the blue star on top of that. Stars on their side as well. I mean, Tensai now has to just stand in positioning. They're going for the long range and honestly just fanning out at this point. They have to separate Milkrio and also Byron here just to have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great start for them. There's the gadget as well. He's going forward onto Moya now, who will try and get some damage in, but not really find any, to be honest with you, considering that lingering effect can't stay on it. There's the weekend warrior from Toro as well, and Tensai forced to retreat. This lead is just getting away from 5 stars to 0 in the blue one, still with Rival as well.
Yeah, all these red roster members at the top right-hand side going to be able to expand a little bit here. Now moving down to the bottom right-hand side of the map. Poison going at Ryohei, getting rather aggressive, though. Doesn't need to overdo it. Knows that he can back off just a smidge here and allow CR to reclaim position. Just hold on to the lead. No need to throw it away.
Yeah, it's not too good for CR with all of these kind of lingering effect shots in the Byron and the Naja just getting completely negated every time they hit some good shots. Just pressing at the tuning points. Here comes the vases down, the snakes to follow as well as Milkrio trying to get some jobs done, but just find a shot for the Poco there, can't quite get it done just yet, narrowly surviving 48, and Tensai will eventually get it. A trade on the right side actually puts CR in the lead.
Yeah, blue star being flip-flopped, so it's going to be the blue side with the lead here. Right-hand side, full engagement from the Rival rosters. They have 2 utility brawlers in Mortis. They have to rely on Mortis to be the big playmaker. Sure, they can get a little bit out of the gadget from Jaeyoung, but it's really going to rely on the swiping from Ryohei.
Well, 12 seconds left now coming in. Tensai gets the double super off Rio. He should be going down, and now they haven't got that front man to try and do the damage. Tensai hyper charge used there as well. The weekend warrior from Toro not going to get the job done just yet. 2 seconds, but both of them burning down. That's going to be a CR win, and it did not seem like it for the majority of the game.
No, I mean, it really took till that last 10 second there to really get a kill and walk away with it. I like that CR put themselves in a position where even though they were down, it's one good push is all they really needed. And I think that's going to be the issue that this composition runs into. I feel like the Mortis is going to have to keep the gas pedal going because otherwise, this team on defense isn't nearly as fun. Mortis is somebody that thrives on offense, and Poco, of course, not dealing a ton of damage. Jae Young not going to be a top frag either, and really just relies on this Mortis constantly grabbing kills, and when you're sitting back and relaxing, it's really difficult to make it work.
So inevitably going their way yet again, and it seems like Naja's playing a little bit further back here, just scared of Ryohei coming in, and he does try to make a move, but backs off pretty much instantly afterwards as well. Endless heals. And they've just got to wait for a moment where he over-aggresses really and punish it.
Inside, just tiptoeing his way up the middle of the map is Ryohei. Slowly approaching, Moya backing away as Rio operates on the right-hand side, dash away, a couple poisonous snakes going down too. That's going to be really pesky to deal with. Thankfully for them, piercing shots from multiple brawlers will be able to eradicate those, but once again, CR now looking for this blue star, half positioning, they push the team up against the wall, extra speed going down, but separation, that's what's important. They need to make sure that they don't get isolated too much, because Jae Young alone won't be able to survive all of this tickling damage coming in. It's so close. Ryohei's able to slide through the gap. Nicely done.
Yeah, Tensai making the move now, wants his super so he can press the gadget and cycle it out for all of them. Sitting together and making sure that he can't push on his own. On the right-hand side, Byron attempting to get some shots in, but whenever they hit some, endless heals follow.
Now the damage going through. Jae Young trying to slide through with a tag. Doesn't get much done. Ryohei, once again, going down the middle of the map. Gets a batarang off, but it's not really going to get him a kill. He's got the shield. It's a close call, but Milcario just gets a freebie out of that one. Now they're down. It's going to be left a rival once again to go for a closeout.
I mean, it's a massive overextension. Whenever he doesn't have his team with him, he knows he's pretty much going to die in a 2v1. Youthman presses the gadget there, and that's super early. Not going to give him that effect for the end game here, and he goes in early again and falls down. Totoro and Youthman have to try and make the same play as last time, and it failed once, and it'll fail again. Ryohei attempting to come up and make some ground, but now all alone. The Tensai healed to oblivion. A CR take the first set.
That was really anticlimactic, wasn't it? I mean, it really felt like Rival had a chance at that, but I think the longer this drug on, CR were able to make adjustments to this unique composition, and I just didn't feel like there was enough offensive firepower. I like the idea. Sometimes you'll see really strategies like this with other brawlers. I think Poco's gadget is a big reason why they end up doing that, but a lot of the times you're going to see the double support. It's a Byron plus a Chloe, something along those lines where at least you can tether onto opponent or be a little bit of a hybrid. Instead, though, it's really just Ryohei shouldering a composition, trying to make some big-time plays, and that's a big ask, especially Amina. Look how many times this happened in game number 1 and 2. They go straight at Tensai. They know they need those blue stars, those frags, and instead it's just met with the Hurricane, and there's just no chance. Zeros across the board for that right-hand side. We're dealing with doing work.
We see it in the stats as well. They were really relying on Mortis to do the work. And on the other side, the Praise Recruit did an amazing job of just staying together in a pack of 3, so the Mortis doesn't really get too much value. And they're all the time protected from the Mortis through the Mina, as you said already. We see Naja only a single kill. Also not the most DPS. Actually, she has the most across the board. Never mind. But yeah, I feel like Naja is a bit overestimated at the moment. She's probably the best she is on Bounty and Knockout. On Brawl Ball, we saw before how she's not really that good. Why is she still banned out so often, Trev?
I mean, to be fair, I think she had a bit of a tough run in there in terms of composition, to be fair, because every time Mortis or enemy goes in, Poco's popping a gadget. This is true. But, you know, I just think the matchup there was just so tough, and maybe it's not a first pick. Maybe it should kind of slip through the bands more often. I'm not sure. I think, in theory, the composition with the Poco should absolutely work, but there was a couple of times where they gave stars away instead of kind of losing them. They kind of just handed them out, and I don't feel like CR would have won that if he didn't make those overextensions.
The first game definitely looked like they had it in the bag already, that they're much better stars, but then gave the stars away. But coming into it, we already weren't the plan. I kind of did say, oh, maybe the Poco is a good pick because of the gadget, but I also just tried to make it sound better, if I'm honest. I didn't really feel like they had a chance because they just were lacking the range. They only had the Mortis, and Mortis had to stay alive also because he then had all the stars and the blue star. You usually don't want in Bounty to only have one brawlers with all the stars.
Yeah, I just feel like not enough damage, not enough firepower. I mean, I think there were a lot of niche things. It's one of those where it feels like this underdog team's maybe trying to catch them off guard. Sierra will never see this one coming, but instead it just didn't really fan out. I think be creative, be original, but that was a little too out of the box thinking for me. And it's easy to say in hindsight, obviously, but yeah, I mean, just more often times than not, I think of Coco compositions probably just not happening on a map like Hideout, especially when it's CR's pick. They've proven themselves on this. I just don't think it was enough of a trap, quote unquote, to make it happen.
Now, triple, triple, what immediately comes to mind here, at least for me, Willow and Shade. And it's an interesting one here because Crazy Raccoon's most picked and most win rate brawler is Shade, and there he is already. And on the other side, the best brawler for Rival Esports on that map was Trump, which would be a good counter to it. So already coming into this, I was kind of expecting Shade to go one way, Trump to go the other way. But Crazy Raccoon seems to look at the same table as I am, and they know exactly that they're good at Trump, and they have a high win rate on it, and it's a good counter to their best brawler, so they ban him up.
Super unfortunate too, because Lumi's out of the equation as well. Grim and Frostbite is a proven method to go against Shade. If you have an ice ring on the ground, then Shade is going to struggle. They also picked Damien to this, which is interesting. It's not really a direct counter, I would say, but Shade has the benefit of getting through that wall that Damien creates. So while I feel like this is a good brawler, I don't necessarily feel like it's a direct answer.
Yeah, I mean, Damien's going to be fine no matter what, really. Like,
right.
How strong he is. It's like, regardless of it not being able to find counter, it's like maybe not directly going after the Shade, but for the rest of the brawlers, it's probably going to be pretty okay regardless. But, you know, I really do like the Shade as the first pick. I think it's a great channel. As you said, it's kind of one of their most picked brawlers, but instantly I think of Willow when I think of this map. So, Chester is one of the more like capable brawlers in terms of majority of things, so not surprised to see it picked when there's still two left.
I still wonder because so far we don't really address the Shade on the right hand side, and if even I can see that they will pick up Shade and ban Trunk, they must have known to ban Shade, or if you leave him open, have an answer to it. Otis is going to be the last pick here. He's probably the best counter, if not the meta, to Damien. Now on the right hand side, I still want to see something to address that Shade. Jester and Damien are two of the strongest brawlers into meta. There's no doubt to it, but Shade is still going to run around the circles and not really care about their shots.
Yeah, Cordelia's coming out. Cordelia's is one that I just have question marks about in general. I know it's nice in the close quarters on this map, but at Brawl Cup, I felt like it was used as an answer a lot of the times, but it was always the third or the fourth or the fifth option at anti-tank. And for me, I feel like there were maybe better choices out there. I think it's tough, but I think they need it. I think something like a Nita stun maybe could come into play here as well, into something like a Shade. I think they just had to come up with some answer, and I feel like that Shadow Realm is maybe their way to address that, because Shade can really let loose. I feel like he had a perfectly good draft set up with the Trunk ban, with the Lumi ban. There just weren't a lot of options to deal with this guy.
Yeah, well, we'll see if Tensai can prove his worth as much as we think he will. Good shots coming in, and Rio Hayden staying in a pretty healthy position now. Has the back off, Tensai going in, gets one shot, but can't quite find the killing blow. He's been very far forward and will get punished.
Ideal lane matchups too, because now that they have Cordelius going into Otis outranging by a mile. Jester can just hold the distance against Charlie. Ryogi just going to be able to bolster a lot of HP as Tensai's able to march forward. Fence ladder on the ground as well. Spiderlink's there for assistance too, and Milcrio, untouched, unfazed, just plucks it in.
Yeah, that seemed a little bit too easy. Ryohei going very far forward now. I think he went for the hypercharge Cocoon into the mid, but they're using everything and it's still working. Totoro, the only one remaining. I don't know if they can get the ball up in time to throw it in before anything can happen. They try and play it forwards. Just a lingering slow of that Chester super stops it.
They're able to pocket this ball, but complete map control for CR. Prime positioning, they don't even need to worry about a thing because Tensai's just going to keep constantly cycling supers. Now in the underworld, going to be dragged alongside Cordelius up top. Moya going to town. Is it Charlie Cocoon going down too? And now Chester has to either let him loose or deal with the enemy side. Milcrio missing a hypercharge there, so still a little hope with the ball resting on that top left-hand side as Tensai still remains firm.
Yeah, great clip from Milcrio there as well to keep the Damien low. Shots from Tensai, almost able to get the swing off, but Utbin yet again bring him into the realm. It hasn't been working massively for him, but it's helping the rest of his team stay alive in these positions. Moya in the unfortunate situation where he's coming out the realm right on top.
Neutral interaction, but now Ryogi trying to give his team the numbers. Down goes one, Milcrio going to be the second to go. A fresh mid coming out of Totoro now, he'll be able to heal. Ryogi takes his time. Moya left all alone. They need to make sure they don't charge the Cocoon, and that's exactly what happens, but he barely marches it in. That was such a close call Risky play, glad it worked out for him.
Hyper, there it is. 3 hits with the gadget. A great hit from Utapin with the super, though. Brings Tensai out of the mix for a while. Ryohei will box himself in there with Moya. Can he get the kill? Still trying to get the job done. There's the cocoon. And they should all be focusing him now. Tensai just retreats behind the wall, so he's safe. And they're in a wonderful position to go next.
Nice team comps, and now the Haunted Hug going down for Tensai. It's just Utapin all alone. Has to be a goalkeeper for his team. Rotating, bobbing, weaving, trying to avoid any yo-yo or stray shot coming out of Milkrio, but he's painting this right-hand side of the map. Ryoki just forced to dive in. Desperation plays as both sides are now down to 2 roster members. Hyperchargers for each available side as well. This could be a game of cat and mouse. Tensai can dive in, but Utapin can just match with a Shadow Realm, and that will drag him out of it. Will lose a ton of value. I would say advantage rival if they could regain positioning.
Yeah, it's a question of whether Moya's going to be able to get this Hyper Charge and make a connection with the Hyper Cocoon, because that'll open up a lot in the open Tensai with a Hyper Charge. Not going to be the scariest thing in the world. Utapin got to Hyper really early there, was lucky to find it in the end. Moya will just pop the Hyper Charge blow. Can he get the ball to the mid? Jaws Tensai can't get a kill. It drops on the line, and Ryohei trying to make a break for it, but Tensai will get back in front of him. Utapin's still waiting for the ball and jumps over. One of the swings from Tensai.
Kick over to the left-hand end as Utapin's looking to get in position. A Hypercharge should capture all 3 of them. Tensai gets a super off, but dies. A missed shot from Utapin, though. Ball falls at the line, and a nice job by the red roster. I would say a questionable decision-making there, too. They really went hyper-offensive with Cord specifically. It ended up working out. I don't know if I liked the process behind that, though. I think they really needed to just match that with a Shade. It would have been a little bit easier for them to get that. But at the end of the day, nicely done. Damien showing his stuff. It's a strong brawler, even if it's not the easiest matchup in the world, even if Shade is still having a pretty solid time. I feel like Rival have done just enough to have answers.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Crazy Raccoon were dominating the majority of that game, always in control, always in their opponent's heart, but couldn't quite find the goals. Ryohei trying to get around the left-hand side. So many low brawlers here. They might even be able to just super this one up and go for the goal. Not even going to go for the super. Just try and kill Totoro here and should be able to do just that. There's the early goal again for CR. And it's more of the same. Somehow Rival get the game win, but CR always in control.
I mean, it was some 25 seconds. We'll capture all 3 brawlers with the crowd, but it's not going to be enough here as Totoro is going to be able to lob up a shot. Milkrio on this right-hand side scoops the ball, dumps it. Tensai going to be holding on to the super. It's going to be a constant battle. Cordelia shadowing this Shade the entire time. Tensai will hold back. Utapin just going ahead and pulling the trigger, though. Again, maybe a little early. I think ideally you just want to bait Tensai into using that super.
Yeah, I don't think Tensai really cares about that, to be honest. If he's got a Hyper Super now that he can just use and surely go and get the kill. Ryohei on the offensive, though, trying to get in an aggressive position, pinched down by Moya. Totoro making the move around the right side, but not the super he would have wanted. Left in a real tough spot. Fat Spatter should be pinching here with a Charlie, but they actually can't get the hit. Eventually do. They don't really need to aggress, though. They just need to prevent the goal.
Granted to them, they bought some time, but Tensai now up in the face of Damien, going against these walls. Punched away, though. Will have another super already at the ready. Preemptively had that gadget pop. Low HP, can't get through the walls, but has to take the time. Utapin with a hard decision here. Does he go ahead and do this for defense and help his 2 teammates out? There it is. Good timing. Baited out Tensai, can at least drag him down. Ryoki up top has to be trusted to handle defense.
Yeah, now going forwards, making the move. There's the mute onto him, though. Milkrio will explode and take a bit more damage. Utapin wins that matchup. Trying to super there for Moya as well on the defensive. 45 seconds to make a move. There he is, moving forwards. Hyper's one gets the shots off, just narrowly survives. Still in the back lines, might be able to receive this pass, and the super going to be missed by Totoro as well. Moya still with a chance, might be able to get this one off. Ryohei throwing out some shots, cocooned, and Moya will find the goal. Was led to survive for way too long, and eventually receives the pass.
Slick play out of CR. I mean, the fact that they survived with 170-ish HP on that top right-hand side. Damien, of course, is a closer range brawler. Needs to use his fist. He didn't have anything from the distance to cover that, and it was just a little bit of buying time. Great job by CR to bounce back there. Even though Rival have a game, to your point, it has felt like they've been in the driver's seat the whole time. We saw 25 seconds roughly be the goal for CR in the first go-round. This ball being kicked to the bottom left-hand side of the map. But Moya already with the super. Tensai getting fed super because Totoro has to move up to this left-hand side. And now we'll just go ahead and instigate this. A kill 3v2 situation, and Moya with a hypercharge. That is ridiculous. We're not even 30 seconds in.
Yeah, I mean, he's missed his hypercharge, to be fair, but they get the kill anyway. Ryohei jumping in, Tensai in the super, though, doesn't really get affected by it in this situation. Pockets the ball, and Milkrio will be left to go and get that. Tensai just rolling on in, and that is not the decision I would have gone for.
No, just a lot of unideal spots there. Again, a very quick goal. Now they've wasted the super out of Cordelius as well, and Tensai with a hypercharge at the ready. He's already in positioning. Utapin doesn't have a super. A slide through. CR just looking like the better team, marching their way to what could be potentially another grand finals for them.
I mean, that was just, even though they lost the game, and I said it during it, it was all domination from Razor Raccoon. You know, towards especially the two games that Razor Raccoon won, I don't think Rival really got out of their half too much. Moya played an incredible Charlie, which usually kind of goes a little bit unnoticed on that brawler, but as you said, had a hypercharge in like 18 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, he missed it, but at least he got it.
Unexcusable in the sense of just feeding those supers too much. And I think this one really came down to just strategy as a whole. But on top of that, it just felt like Cordelius, not the easiest job in the world, but they're really relying on that Cordelius to make these constant good decisions. They burned that super at the end game. There were several times early on where I feel like you'd have been needed to bait out Tensai. And the fact that they drafted Cordelius for this Shade, it is still Shade with 470 DPS, 2 goals, and 12 kills. You just can't let that happen.
I said it coming into the draft already, and they have the same data as I do. Ban out the best brawler of the team on this map. Tensai on that Shade. I have it in front of me. They surely have it in front of them as well. Why do you give them the Shade? They banned out the Trunk, which is a really good brawler for Rival Esports and would have been a good counter to the Shade, but that's exactly how you play the game and how you play the draft in the end. Razor Raccoon just really did that better. They won the draft and they're winning the set in the end. I also want to mention Moya there. He absolutely dished out on that Charlie. He had his hypercharge in the second round within 14 seconds.
There's like no world where that should be happening. Like a hypercharge, like a super's one thing. Credit where, a hypercharge is unbelievable. It's not like Charlie's is a rapid fire. You need a lot of shots to get through that. So the fact that he's just cycling a yo-yo out that quickly, pretty ridiculous.
Definitely. And let's see if they can do it again. We're now heading over to Safe Zone, which was, I believe, Razor Raccoon's pick again.
As the third set, I would assume so. Second through the top, but yeah, it's going to be a tough one now for Rivals to come and win this. 2 down, being dominated, especially in the second set. The first one was a lot closer. The second set seemed to be more Razor Raccoon's way, but bans are in then for Safe Zone, the Penny, the Kaze, and the Colette. I was surprised to see that Colette. It was a brawl that was played here so much a few years ago with its resurgence. No surprise it's out of the way. Naja going to be the first pick then for Rival Esports as well, along with the Colt, the Colette, and the Penny battles over there.
Train Conductor still available, something I'm looking out for. I know Naja can be a solid pick overall, but just long distance good control, I can't fault him. It's a great brawler, but I wonder if this left side just doubles down on some super aggressive stuff, because Naja can do trickling damage, but not necessarily insta-kills. The super is really nice, but I don't know if I'm kind of tempted if I'm the left-hand side, just get really aggressive with this 2-3 turn.
Aggressive or pick up the Pierce again has worked out quite often today. Would also be a great safe pick for the middle here on Safe Zone. Lumi coming in to do kind of the same thing here. She dishes out the low damage, is great at defense, and also has a lot of area control thanks to her gadgets. Now let's see what they're actually going to come up with. I do like the Naja on a map like this one. She is probably one of the better brawlers to pick on here. We still need some damage on the right-hand side. Left side now has Melody for that. Now, Melody has been an interesting one. She has been one of the best brawlers on Heist for the longest time. I don't think she's that strong right now.
Yeah, not as she was. I think a lot of the time it was kind of picked in as like an answer to Chuck. It's like, okay, you've got Chuck, we've got Melody, we'll just base race it. It is not as strong at the moment. I feel like there are a lot of things in the game that have those defensive measures that stop her over and over and over again.
They're left open too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, yes, you're going to get some damage throughout the game, but it's not probably going to be as much as you would have in the past.
So Otis left open, that's going to be a way that they deal with this. I think they just have to prepare for the inevitable 6th pick, set themselves up for success, get something that's well-rounded on defense. But right now, I think Otis is a solid hybrid of DPS, but I think they could use a little more juice in this composition, especially in the eyes of a Melody. So we've got our defensive option here, little hybrid coming out. Naja can do high-safe damage, but I think we're going to be better in the long-range affair. I don't mind it as something like Lumi, where you can just hold your space and go the distance. They could also go somebody like somebody that can kind of traverse over the water on this map too. I'm curious if they go that route. Lily is solid. That is the damage we were looking for, but I am a little surprised that that's their take of choice.
We were talking about we want some DPS. Lily is okay to just that, but I think there would have still been just some better options. Carl, for example, to go with Watcher. Even an Eve at that, it can be defensive, but can also go aggressive whenever she has hatchlings available. Lily is not what I was looking for. it can work still very against the Lumi. You can just go into the Shadow Realm, sneak up to save, and then get off some damage before the Lumi will eventually take you out, because Lumi's just really good at defense. Bo now coming in as that mid-pick, surprised to not see the Pierce that I mentioned coming into the draft. Bo is someone that we haven't seen in quite some time. Both drafts have some brawlers that I did not expect to go into Melody on the one side and the Lily on the right hand side, but both drafts could definitely work out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Melody's going to need to be kind of the big damage dealer for that side. Lily is just, as you said, just non-stop. Gadget, go forward. Gadget, go forward. It's a cycle over and over again. The same as Melody will be. You get a few supers, and you just dash forward 3 times. Bo through the mid then, instantly Milcreo not able to see Ryohei just yet, but it'll put enough space in between him and the brawler as he comes out the realm and gets some good shots in, but not without receiving 7% off the Lily and a few ticks from the fast one.
They do get some damage in there, but like you mentioned, Lily is going to be a north-south kind of brawler. It's a straight line down the middle of the map, rotate Gadget, get kills, feed super, and that's all there really is to it with this brawler. But the other two are really going to be relied on for defense right now. Milcreo just able to slide through. Ryohei going to beat him in his face, get a few punches off, grab a kill, but now very much an even affair. You're going to have to just keep an eye on this Lily, but Tensai at the same time. If they see Ryohei make a move, it's going to be Tensai matching on the other end.
Yeah, Tensai going up now, choosing to go for the Nagi, not going after DPS in his face to stop him, but does get the trade. Milcreo throws some more shots onto safe, and they're just going to let the Lily live down the bottom, get the crack, and they're going to take one in turn.
Yeah, 74% apiece now as the bow mines go down, so they're not going to be able to step very easily. Of course, going to activate that with the tripwire from the Gadget. Nicely played there as a hypercharge is already available for Tensai. He's going to dive in, and once again, goes at the face of the enemy. With Totoro there, it's not going to be enough to get through. I think they're doing a good job of really holding Melody back.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure he's happy with what he got though. Got 1 kill, got half the Otis HP down to allow his teammates to get up, and they've just been left on defense again. Ryohei here, Moya coming up, there's the Gadget, has a hypercharge as well, and honestly, I thought he was going to leave him for a second there. Gadget used the frostbitten. It's Stevens, still 49 to 49. They can't be separated, they're just base racing, but it's just 1 by 1 crack.
Ryohei is just buying time though. It's now taking